people for years have scared a lot of us, me included, into not using this particular product. But recently, with the onslaught of dermatologists coming on the interwebs, shedding their information and their expertise, I decided to give it a try. And girl, this $2 tub of petroleum jelly can work wonders on a lot of us for our skin. Now in this video, I'm probably gonna use the term petroleum jelly, petrolatum, and Vaseline interchangeably. I'm talking about the same thing. Let me tell you what it did for me and what it can do for you. I ain't even put the thing in my nose. Yup, keep watching. So is petroleum jelly actually safe? A lot of the confusion is coming from people mistaking the petroleum that comes from the bottom of an oil rig with cosmetic petroleum jelly. Cosmetic petroleum jelly is not the same as crude oil. No, you're not putting an oil rig on your face. Okay, so why are you putting it on your skin, Danielle? Well, for one, it prevents transepidermal water loss, which is a term that means the skin has a hard time holding on to the hydration that it desperately needs. Now that transepidermal water loss is prevalent in people of color, but it also has an uptick during these cold, dry winters. And it's especially an issue if you're someone with skin conditions like eczema. It's also non-irritating and does not get absorbed into the skin, and it does not clog pores. Now, however, if you are acne prone, typically when you're acne prone, some of you got a problem with heavier, more occlusive moisturizers like Vaseline, and some of those can trigger things like whiteheads, but it's not inherently clogging your pores. So how do I use it and what has it done for me lately? I'm gonna tell you. Now after I shower at night, especially now in the winter, and I get out the shower and my skin is still damp, I will take this petroleum jelly and I will rub it all over my body, right? Girl, my skin has been going through it this winter between moving into a new place and trying to figure out the friggin' thermostat. My skin is getting dry. The indoor heating just messes me up. Not only does the indoor heating dry out my skin, and it's probably drying out your skin too, right? Also, that mess is messing with my sinuses. I'm getting post-nasal drip, waking up with a sore throat, and I don't need to be waking up with no symptoms in this day and age, if you know what I'm saying. Now, normally I can also do this with a body moisturizer that is rich in vitamin F, and for more tea on vitamin F, body skincare and all that stuff, there's a video on it, so make sure you check that out. But sometimes I need a little more. And I would do it a couple of hours before you go to bed so you're not getting all in there and the Vaseline is tracking and it can get a little messy. You can also do this with your hands and your feet. I would recommend putting gloves on and socks on so that, you're not tracking the jelly all over your house. I also use Vaseline on my face. Yes, on my face. Let me tell you how. Now, I don't do it as part of my regular routine because it's not all the time that I need it. As a matter of fact, where it came in really, really handy was recently this change in the weather. New York City winters can be brutal. Even though I've lived here my whole life, they can just come at you, right? So I had been using certain actives for a long time. No reaction to my skin. All of a sudden, the winter time comes, the indoor heat and all that other stuff comes, and my skin is stinging. I'm like, what is happening? Because I know I'm not sensitive to these products. I knew it was because the change in winter, my skin barrier had been impaired and I needed to do something. So what I did was I started to take my actives out of my routine. No vitamin C in the morning, no retinoid at night, no exfoliators. I took all of that mess out. So what I would do is in the morning, I would wash with the gentle cleanser and I would move on to my moisturizer and sunscreen. During that time, I would actually use the Olay Mineral Sunscreen because it was moisturizing enough for me to use it on its own. And I had the sunscreen, so it was like boom, 2-in-1, boom, bang, boom, and I was done, right? At night, what I would do was I would wash my face with a gentle cleanser. While my skin was still damp, then I would lather the Vaseline on. Give it some time because I ain't trying to jump into bed with the greasy face, you know what I'm saying? I did that for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks until my skin started to feel more like itself. And then I slowly added my regular actives back into my routine. Now that was about a month ago and I have to say the skin is skinning. However, new challenges are coming with the temperatures dropping and then going up and then dropping. So gotta always be on it. Petroleum jelly can be a helpful ally when you're using prescription medications like tretinoin because they tend to cause some irritation. Now, I would caution using them together because again, putting on an active and then putting something occlusive on top might not be the best idea for a lot of people. It can work for some, but how do you want to find out if it's gonna work for you, right? You want to slather it all on your face or slowly work your way in. So what I would do is on the nights where you're not using the tretinoin, I would use the Vaseline as your moisturizer. Because when you're first starting tretinoin, you don't want to go all guns a-blazing, all fast and hard and every day using it. You want to slowly bring it into your routine. And for more information on that, there is a video on 10 things you need to know about tretinoin, so check it out. I've also used petroleum jelly as a barrier for one of my prescription topicals, which I use to fade the discoloration underneath my eyes. Now, it has hydroquinone in it, right? Which was great for the discoloration, but I didn't want that hydroquinone touching my regular skin. And then, cause you know, it's like, I ain't want that, right? So what I would do is I would put some petroleum jelly, Vaseline, on the areas that I did not want the medication to, you know, seep over or spill over onto that side, and it worked really fine. Now, like I said, indoor heating be jacking me up. No, seriously, it jacks me up. Not only does it dry out my facial and my body skin, it also dries out my nose, and I have issues with postnasal drip. In the wintertime with the indoor heat and all that other stuff, it's just like, ugh. I just moved into a new place and I'm having a hard time trying to figure out to gauge the temperature, because in my old place, I could go without turning the heat on for a much longer time than I could here. So I'm just like, do I put it up? Do I put it down? What do I do? What I do is I keep this down as much as I can, and I use alternate methods to stay warm. I layer up, I use an electric blanket, and when I just cannot take it and I gotta put this heat up, what I will do is I will run a humidifier, but I will only run the indoor heating for a little bit, and then I'll turn that sucker right back down. What I will also do at night before bed is I will stick some Aquaphor inside of my nostrils. Now what that does is it prevents my nose from getting dried out. Now when that nose gets dried out, all sorts of havoc is gonna be wrecked all up and through my ear, nose, and throat system, you know what I'm saying? So doing that helps prevent it from drying out. Now that is something that I would normally do when I fly, but recently I was like, listen, I need to do this before bed because waking up with a sore throat ain't it. There is another Petrolatum use that comes in handy, especially now in our current situation. Now, if you're someone wearing masks and you have to wear it more than say like 4 to 6 hours at a time, you might want to do this if you're experiencing maskne. What you do after you finish your skincare routine, you put your sunscreen on if it's the daytime, you can even have your makeup on, you do all of that stuff, right? Then you take a thin layer of Vaseline, again, the regular kind, or you can take some Aquaphor or some of the others that I'll explain to you in this video. But you take a thin layer of that and you put it on the areas where the straps are rubbing up against your skin. Now what that does, it prevents the straps from rubbing up against your skin, because that's exactly what's happening when you're wearing the mask for a prolonged period of time. The straps rubbing up against your skin, it's causing a condition called acne mechanica. It's not only unique to this area here, it can happen in other areas where there is some friction. So that's what you do. You need a buffer, and you can do that with Petrolatum. Now, Vaseline is not the only kid on the block that can do this. Here are some alternatives. You don't even have to buy the Vaseline brand. I have been chilling with the generic from Walmart, the Equate brand. The label is all peeling up. I haven't even had it that long. The bottle is looking a little crazy, but it's what's on the inside that counts. Both products contain 100% Petrolatum. There is also the Aquaphor Healing Ointment. It's less greasy looking, has more of a matte looking finish to it than the Vaseline does. This has 41% Petrolatum, and it combines some inactive ingredients, which if you're interested in, I will link this product below in the description box so you can check out the full ingredient list. So if you're someone who looks for specific ingredients, you can check that out. There's also the CeraVe Healing Ointment, which contains 46.5% Petrolatum and some inactive ingredients, which again, I will link this below so you can check out the full ingredient list. Now, if you can get your hands on it, you see this little tiny little itty bitty thing that I got my hands on, because the CeraVe Healing Ointment has become popular through social media, so you know, sometimes it might be a little hard to find it. However, you ain't even gotta buy this CeraVe brand name because there are generics. I picked this one up at Walgreens. This is the Walgreens healing ointment. The ingredient lists are somewhat similar. I wouldn't say that they're twins, but the ingredient lists are somewhat similar. I will link this below as well. And now in terms of consistency and the way that they feel on the skin, I would say that these are pretty similar to the Aquaphor. Now, if you are looking for a more bourgeois version of the Petrolatum, the Sesderma SILKSES Skin Moisturizing Protector is something that I actually enjoy using. I would not normally pick something like this up, but if you've been following me for a while, you know that last year I did a skincare routine swap with my homie Saj, who is more of a maximalist, more of a luxury skincare lover. I'm more like, look man, I need to get her out, get in and get out, okay? I love me some skincare, but I also love my time too, right? And my money. So anyway, this is actually really nice. It contains petrolatum in it, as well as some other ingredients. I will link it below in case you are interested. Now, do you need to go run out and buy some petroleum jelly? I mean, you might need to, because the bottle that you have at home is probably, you know, expired. You had it for years. The tub is looking kind of like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? You might need to go and buy you another one. But while I have found many great personal uses for it, and it's recommended by a ton of dermatologists as a great inexpensive moisturizer, especially if you're someone with a skin barrier impairing condition such as eczema. Not everything is going to be for everyone, right? Now, if you are curious and you have a need for it, then go for it. But as with anything that you try in your routine that is new to you, go low and slow, do a patch test. I would say if you're looking to dibble dabble into the world of petroleum jelly and healing dry skin, start with your body. Your body skin tends to be less sensitive than your facial skin. So maybe you might want to start there. Also, be careful what you are using underneath the petroleum jelly. Now, when I use it, typically I'm just cleansing my face. While the face is still damp, I'll probably put the Vaseline on right then and there. Sometimes I may put my moisturizer on and then put the petroleum jelly on top of that. But I personally have not used petroleum jelly with actives. You want to be careful what you use underneath it, because with certain things when under occlusion can feel a little bit more potent and irritating to your skin. So be careful out here in these streets. Also, and hopefully I didn't have to tell you this, but you never know. You never know. You want to make sure your skin is clean before you put the Vaseline on, because then you don't want to go and trap dirt, oil, and debris all up and through, and then you put the Vaseline on top. That's just not a good idea. Just waiting for things to happen. That's when people say, oh, see, that's because the Vaseline clogged your pores. It's like, no, it didn't clog your pores, but you trapped dirt, oil, and debris on your face with the Vaseline. Now let me know in the comments, have you used petroleum jelly, petrolatum? You know, I'm using the term interchangeably throughout the video. Have you used it in your routine? Would you use it in your routine? Let me know your thoughts and your experience down in the comments, good or bad, because this is a community. We learn from each other. So leave your comments below, and any questions that you have, leave them below as well, because that's just the kind of place that this is. Follow me on social. The links will be in the description box, as well as links to things that, you know, I might be wearing. Kick the camera a little bit. You know, I kind of like this cute little outfit. I don't always be, you know, with the showing of the outfits, because, you know, sometimes I don't have a full outfit on, but I thought this was cute. I got the top and bottom from JCPenney. The top is Arizona in the junior section. You're probably gonna want to go to your local JCPenney and see if you can find it, because I cannot find this thing online. But the jeans, honey, I'll link them below. And the turban and the earrings are from Black women-owned brands. I will link that below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.